Like, so that means people are going to play it for 2 weeks, mine out all the content, and then it's going to die, which sucks. Unless it's
especially for a game that's like multiplayer, so multiplayer focused. Like, I feel like EA is taking the comments people have made and are like, okay, let's take it to another extreme and going like, not, this is not what we meant.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, otherwise they like said they're going to make another Skate.
Yeah.
Which I haven't seen anybody talking about this angle on that, but they used the language, you literally commented this into existence, which I think is not a good thing to say out loud.
No.
I have seen some people comment on that exact thing, how it's just going to enable the worst parts of of gaming to just
between that and
endlessly bully and pester and harass developers to do what they want.
Yeah. Ugh.
Between that and Snyder Cut coming into existence.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
It's like
a perfect storm.
Perfect storm of like nerd entitlement.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise they showed like a couple of EA originals that looked cool. The Way Out team is doing a game that looks, interesting. I don't know. It looks like a action platformer that is basically like Inside Out, but an action platformer. And then I forget the name of the other studio, the Faye studio.
But the thing about that was they had like a straight up just 5 to 10 minute Joseph Perez interview before that about Joseph Perez. It was so weird.
Yeah, and like they had this wonderful Sims 4, like the Sims presentation that was like all of these marginalized groups, people of color, disabled gamers, like talking about the Sims, and which you still, I always think it's important to note. Because our friend Chris Edgerton reminds me all the time, there's still a lot of disabilities that are not represented in The Sims. So I think it's great that they continue to expand that, but it's I think important to remind them that they have more work to do. But it was this great diversity presentation that felt earnest and not like pandering, but then they didn't have any announcements for the Sims. Like it was a beautiful little like 4-minute video, but they had there's nothing
but
at
The
all.
Sims 4 is going to Steam, so like really,
that was their announcement.
Isn't that the biggest announcement that you could have? No.
I mean, honestly,
anyone
compared to the other
to
stuff
play
they
the
showed,
Sims, anyone who wants to play The Sims is playing the fucking Sims. Like,
exactly.
I don't know.
So I don't know. It was that stuff was disappointing, and like that Rocket Arena game does not. No offense to that team, but it looks very generic and not like something I'm ever gonna play.
Looks like something Ubisoft would put out.
Totally, yeah.
Like that looks like the kind of like what Shoot Mania or or just like one of the, like the weird like middle of the show things where you're just like, oh, okay, I guess, sure.
Which is definitely what it was here too, except there was nothing after it and nothing before it.
Well, it's also been kicking around for a while, but
yeah, it's not an announcement. It's an announcement that they're publishing it, but it was going to be published by Nexon before. So yeah, I don't know. Like that event sucked, and no offense to the people that were on it. Greg did a good job hosting it. All of the people who spoke on it were, like eloquent and had good presentations, but I don't understand.
It's just a matter of why do they need to take an hour to do this?
Yeah, it was a waste of time.
Yeah,
like
it's the idea like, okay, we already were planning this for E3. E3 is not happening, therefore, because it's like I can imagine that if E3 was still going, that they wouldn't go, well, we can't. They would go, well, we just can't have. What am I even trying to say? Well, we can't not have.
Yeah, I know what you're
saying. But they can because they're not on the E3 floor. They do their own thing,
right?
Like a different venue.
Yeah,
right. So. But I mean, they'd say that they're like, oh, well, we have to do this in conjunction with the whole E3 thing.
There's no E3, and they didn't have to do anything,
right?
But, and they did. Like, this is worse than nothing.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
It kind of is. Yeah, but I mean, I can see that like. They might have been preparing something because they're like, okay, we need to do a thing. And then E3 got canceled and everything got canceled. They're like, well, we already put Like
if this is what they had for E3 or like, you know, that time period, like
I don't. What are they?
Maybe that is what they had for E3 like summer stuff.
Prayers for EA. Then.
Probably.
Aside, I mean, it's becoming more and more clear that like clearly the thing keeping EA in business is that they have sports games.
Yeah.
Because they're not putting anything. I mean, have they released anything this year?
Let's find out.
They put out Fallen Order at the end of last year.
Yeah. Either way, I would say
because they keep canceling all their Star Wars games and they keep trying to make so many of them, and they're like, no, you know, scrap this one.
And they talked about like, you know, I think DICE does incredible work, but the stuff I was hearing is that like whatever their next game isn't even going to be announced until next year, and they're done working on Battlefield 5 and Battlefront 2. They're still doing like technical patches, but like those games are in maintenance mode now.
Like they don't have anything for like next gen, which is
no. I mean, that's what I'm saying is I just don't understand
like sports. But
they had nothing to say about Anthem or what BioWare is working on. And again, I don't want people. I don't want teams. I think it's better to have no information and get games less frequently so that people have better lives for sure. I'm not advocating for like crunch or anything, but at the same time, like then don't have this show.
Yeah.
If they had tweeted, hang out the rest of this year. Look forward to EA better wording than that, but look forward to Star Wars Squadrons. We'll see you in 2021 for some huge announcements. I would have been like, okay, cool, great. Saves me an hour.
They could have done a co-marketing deal with Sony or Microsoft.
Totally.
That could have been part of that Microsoft thing last month.
Squadrons could have, maybe Squadrons was ready, but it could have been a part of, if there had been a Star Wars game at that Microsoft thing, it would have looked way better too.
By the way, EA has only released one thing in 2020 so far, and it's actually two things. Command & Conquer Remastered Collection and
the source code for Command & Conquer.
And then they've also released The Sims 4 Eco Lifestyle. I don't know which size of pack it is for The Sims 4.
I believe that is a game pack, so like
it's the big one, I think.
Okay.
No, it's not a big one.
Oh, it's the mid one?
Yeah, it's the mid-tier one.
It's still got a lot of like gameplay mechanic stuff.
Yes, but it's
we can look forward to Madden 21 later in the year. Rocket Arena
looking forward to
but like I mean that's those two things are the extent to which they've published in 2020, which
Madden might be the only football this year, so but we'll see.
And I mean like Madden is gonna do great, like I mean there's no question, but I mean like last year they had Apex Legends starting the year, and then they also had Anthem. So
well, yeah, but at least Anthem was supposed to have been good. Like it was still a big release, you know.
It was a big. It was like they were aiming for something. Holiday.
Yeah.
And so it's just weird. This year seems weird that they just don't have anything. They didn't even have a Sims expansion pack to announce. Like,
they just put one out. So, but yeah,
I mean, but they've got a lot of expansion packs for The Sims.
Yeah, they put expansion packs out every few months. It seems like. And they didn't even have the next thing to announce for those. So
yeah, I have no idea. I don't keep up with The Sims, but. Speaking.
Oh, you're right. The Eco Lifestyle is a big one.
Aha.
So that makes a little bit more sense. I thought it was a game pack, but
suck it.
Means I have to get
suck my Eco Lifestyle.
I play like around 20 to 30 hours of The Sims per year, usually in a fugue state over one weekend. But I like to keep up with the expansion pack so that when those weekends come, I'm not looking at like $80 to get purchase. Current.
Yeah. No, God. I think I saw somebody look at everything that's for The Sims 4 on Steam right now, and it's like, oh my God, that if you want to get everything now, it is. They know how to make money with that game.
My tip is you don't need to get everything.
No. Did you know there's a speedrun category for Sims 4, which is have a baby as fast as possible and have a baby and then have it taken away by Child Protective Services as fast as possible?
The Sims community fucking rules.
Yeah,
they come up with so many interesting ways to manipulate and do shit in that game.
It's you just have to make the person sleep a lot when they have the baby, and then eventually Child Protective Services takes it away, and that's time.
But I only buy the expansion packs. The lower tier stuff I don't. I only buy those if they look really interesting.
If you want to get all DLC for the Sims on Steam, most of it's on sale right now. Like most of it's 30% off. $518.66.
Why?
Well, they put out stuff every month, so
they've got there is quite a bit of content for this.
It's definitely not designed as a thing where you go in for $518. You're supposed to pick and choose stuff as you find it interesting.
Yeah, for me, if I was really into The Sims, I'd be like, okay, I want to get this this set about movie stuff, and I want to get this set about, I don't know, other stuff. But
speaking of things that are on Steam, the Summer Game Festival is going on Steam, and there's a 900 game demos or something available.
There's a ton.
Undecipherable amount where you'd be hard pressed to play everything, and no one wants to play everything because not everyone likes every game, but there's so much, it's hard to go through and pick out what to play. We went through and we picked some games. We're gonna talk about them. But this is by no means all there is, so head over to Steam and check some stuff out. There's big games, small games.
I already am fairly patient, so I don't really need to see stuff pre-release. I like announcements, but previews don't hit for me. So looking at that list was this is a lot of stuff, and there's not much here that I actually want to engage with until it's out anyway. And it was weird. And then there were games that were releasing that they were tying to it from a marketing perspective, which was weird. It's a weird event. It's cool, but it's weird.
Yes.
I would say it's an excellent event because it gets eyes on indies who otherwise would not have somewhere to get eyes shown on them.
That's what I was gonna say. It's I'm glad that Steam is here, let's show off a lot of cool indie games that are coming to the platform.
Yeah, and they're also interviewing a lot of those indie creators with in a really cool way. So even if your people aren't watching those interviews all the time, they're at least archiving them. So they exist in perpetuity, and then that's just ways for those developers to further kind of get their name out there, which I think is really valuable.
I wonder, I saw a couple devs saying they're not seeing the wish lists really move at all based on this, and I wonder if that's just
so many.
That's what I'm. That's kind of what I'm seeing, is that the problem is the discoverability is so bad, and it's such hard. A deluge. This isn't meant as a knock against any of those games, because I'm sure individually they all are doing unique and different and cool things. But when you look at it, it is pages and pages of very pretty, but very pixel art and lots of kind of hand-drawn art. It's very hard to get a read on different. It's very hard to differentiate the games, and it's if I saw any one of those games pop up in my Steam queue, I would go, oh, this looks cool. But when you put all of them side by side, it's just sort of a refrigerator of stuff, and it's hard to parse for me, and I think that's probably true for a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, when we talked about doing this, where we before the show, we wanted to all kind of take a look at this and maybe play some demos for it, which is cool. But then I know that I definitely had some difficulty finding stuff. The thing that was nice is that it automatically said, hey, here's everything that you've wish listed for the future that has a demo. But unless you've wish listed a bunch of indie games that are not out but are coming out, then that's not exactly helpful. And there I was just trying to look through all of these. They have big categories, but I know that I'm not seeing everything. It's kind of overwhelming.
Yeah, the UI for discovery on that is really bad. One of the things that I noticed was I originally was looking at it from my browser and was not logged in on my browser, and I was like, oh, it's recommending these for you, and I'm like, oh wait, I'm not logged in. And I logged into my account and it was the exact same thing.
So. Yeah. And like when I was in the store interface, like I opened up Steam and it said Summer Games Fest now at the top, and then I clicked into it, and then I clicked away for some reason, and then when I went back to the store page to try to get back to Summer Games Festival, it just was gone from the page. And this was one of the first few days, and they fixed it eventually, and now it's got like a permanent little banner, but it's like, why? It just doesn't seem like it was super well thought out.